first, doesn't seem like... I think it's uncomfortable for her when I talk to her in front of Lady Westmacott. She seems to take it as an inappropriate distraction from her work, although she's just knitting. Taking up a craft like that is typical of women who were told as little girls that idleness is a sin. The steward must have forgotten the toothpicks. Normally he would offer them discreetly after dinner. The wooden toothpicks are packed into small paper wrappers. Nothing unusual. I need a bit of wire or something like that to pick the lock. I'll leave the scissors here. If I need them, I know where to find them. The ladder leads up to the roof. It will be suicidal to climb up there while the train is at full speed. The wind, tunnels... No, I'll stay down here. A box with a padlock. I suppose it contains tools for the train's crew, maybe for coupling and uncoupling the cars. At any rate, it's positioned so that it's easier to reach from the ground than from up here. Locked.
Bang! Bang!
Huh?
Don't move!
Matt, have you gone mad?
I'll shoot! Hey, my pistol!
You'll get it back in Venice. I could have fallen under the wheels.
I thought you were a ghost.
Ghosts don't exist.
They do too. One just flew past the window.
Yes, sure. Now get moving.
Oh, man.
The box is secured with a padlock. I won't be able to open it without a key. Matt will get his pistol back in Venice. That and a good dressing down.
Constable?
Yes, ma'am.
My son didn't make any trouble for you, I hope. It's just that he just walked past us, silent and seething. That's usually a sign that someone's laid down the law.
I'm afraid so. He played a trick on me, a rather dangerous one. The lad left me no choice but to take away his wooden pistol as a punishment.
I understand. And thank you. Maddie is a very lively child. Sometimes he needs a strong fatherly hand.
Where is Matt's father, if I may ask?
He's gone.
Ah, I understand.
Could you, leave Maddie's pistol here, perhaps? So you don't have to bother with it?
Of course. I told him he wouldn't get it back until Venice.
Very well. Thank you again, Constable.
Hello, Matt. Oh, come on. Are you going to be angry with me for the rest of the trip?
Until I get my pistol back.
I gave it to your mother.
Oh, man. Couldn't you have just raked me over the coals?
Would you have learned anything from that?
I didn't learn anything from this either.
Would you like a butterscotch?
You think you can bribe me?
I have no reason to. You made trouble and got punished for it. Take it as a peace offering.
Just 4?
If I'm faster than you, there'll only be 3.
Hey!
Friends again?
Mm-hmm.
All right then. And no dangerous nonsense anymore.
Okay.
Your mother is Lady Westmacott's companion, correct?
Yeah, but it's not like you think. At first I thought, boy, you must be really wicked if you need to pay for friends. But the lady's really okay. A bit odd and really old. But other than that, she's great. She likes me.
The lady has peculiar taste.
Hey!
You and your mother, do you both live on Lady Westmacott's estate?
I'm only there for the holidays. Most of the time I'm at boarding school.
I imagine that's not very pleasant.
No, it's fine. I have friends there. You always have to be so quiet in the lady's house, and I'm not allowed to bring any friends.
Such a big house with so many places to hide, and no one to play hide and seek with.
You said it.
And how long has your mother worked for the lady?
2 years.
And your father? What does he do?
He stayed home. I used to go fishing with him, and hunting. He even let me shoot a real gun.
And then?
Then Mom fought with him, and he left. I was 7.
Oh, and how old are you now?
In 8 months, I'll be 9 years old.
And do you already know what you want to be when you grow up? A burglar?
No. We'll see. Maybe an actor.
Really? Well, I don't know. You need a lot of talent for that. I'm an actor in a theater group, you know?
You are?
Oh, yes. And I'm one of the best in our group, if I may say so. I get really deep into my roles, you know? I don't just talk like the character. I think like him. I become him. It's the only way to... Matt, are you okay?
I think you just have to be good at copying things to be an actor.
That wasn't bad. Disturbing, but not bad. The Baroness in the second compartment over there is missing her purse. Do you have any idea where it could be?
Do I ever? That guy over there with the violin case?
What about him?
He picked up something in Zurich and put it in his violin case.
Really?
Yeah, and he made sure that nobody saw him.
But you saw him.
Uh-huh.
Did you also see what it was?
Nah, not really. But now that I think of it, it must have been the Baroness's purse.
I should look into it, shouldn't I?
I think so.
Tell me, have you seen the steward anywhere?
No. He was walking around a little while ago, though.
Hopefully they didn't forget him in Zurich.
What's he supposed to do?
I'm looking for a key to open a compartment door.
Did you check his things behind the counter?
I'm sure the drawers will be locked.
Can't you break it open? Or pick the lock like the Raven?
Perhaps. But I'd need a piece of wire or something like that.
Ask my mom. She has a lot of hairpins. She doesn't like the wind messing up her hair.
Thanks for the tip. So long.
So longer.
Excuse me, sir. About the purse.
Ah, yes? Has it been found?
Someone saw you with your violin case on the platform in Zurich.
What's the meaning of this? I didn't steal anything.
Nobody said you did. I just wanted to ask you whether you might have noticed anything on the platform.
Well,
Why did you think I was accusing you?
well, I thought, because you mentioned my violin case in the context of the purse.
Apropos, may I have a look at your violin? It must be a very extraordinary piece.
That's not possible. It's a genuine Guarneri.
Very valuable.
Very, and also very sensitive.
What could harm it here? Light? Air? May I ask you to open the violin case?
No, you may not. I'm not guilty of anything.
I'm afraid I have to insist.
Then I'm afraid you need a warrant. I will not stand back and let you rifle through my belongings.
Have a good trip.
Thank you.
I think the violinist is hiding something. But to be sure that Matt was right, I have to get a look in the violin case. How can I do that without the violinist's consent? The violinist is uncooperative. I'm not authorized to search his belongings against his will and without a good reason, and he knows it. I have to come up with something. All right, Matt, tell me now. The violinist won't let me check his violin case.
Of course he won't. He's hiding something. Should I distract him? Then you can have a look in his case.
What do you suggest?
I could tell him there's a suitcase full of money in the next carriage. If he's a thief, he'll definitely want to take a look at it.
I don't think he'll fall for that.
Or I can insult him and then run away. He'll try to catch me, and you'll have a chance to look in that violin case.
Now that I think about it, this is something I have to attend to on my own. It would be expecting a bit much from a little boy.
Little boy? You must be kidding.
Sorry, Sheriff, but your idea about distracting him is good all the same. So long.
So longer.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes?
Please excuse my unusual request, but Matt said you have some hairpins. Could I borrow one?
One of my hairpins?
It's a long story. It would be a big help.
Well, if you really need one.
Go ahead, Mary. The constable won't do it any harm. Will you, Mr. Zellner?
Of course not, madam.
Is this one okay?
It'll do nicely, madam. Oh, very kind of you. Goodbye, Mrs. Miller.
Goodbye, Constable.
Picking a modern padlock in an uncomfortable position on a rocking train? I'm too old for that. The box is secured with a I'd better let him read. And suddenly, it's me who's the thief on the train. Whoops. That That was easier than expected. Batteries, a toothbrush, shaving brush, but not the key to the compartment door. Just this one. Too small for the door, but it might still be useful. A key to a padlock. I'm sure of that. It's not the first time I've held one. That's it. There we go. This should help. My grandfather was a blacksmith. When I was a child, I used to play with tongs and hammers in his workshop. My mother never cared for that. She was always worried about my little fingers. But I never hurt myself seriously. I'm quite clever with tools. I bet I could really get a grip on the boat with these.
Well, come on then, hurry up.
Hello?
I barely left the window ajar.
Nothing to see.
Ah.
Are you okay?
Yes, fine.
Do you have any idea why the door was locked?
I don't know. Maybe the constant vibrations caused the lock to lock itself.
You can't possibly believe that.
Well, then what's your theory?
The conductor could have locked it from the outside. On the other hand, it could have been someone here in the compartment who locked the door from the inside.
Who? And where have they gone?
They could have climbed out there.
Who would be that insane?
You tell me, Professor. So, what are you hiding in your bag? What do you have that would be worth stealing?
No, nothing.
No valuables?
Certainly not. Not on my salary.
It was enough for a first-class compartment on a luxury train.
That's my business.
You're playing a dangerous game, Professor Lucian. I'd like to look around a bit.
Of course.
Assuming there really was someone in the compartment, and he climbed out the window, where's he gone? No, nothing interesting. The Bible, Grimm's fairy tales, Moby Dick, and gin, whiskey, and rum. All classics. Wow, you have a very nice fountain pen. Pricey.
If you'd managed to decode hieroglyphics that boggled the best minds of the last 3,000 years, you'd have received a gift like that as well.
I really wonder what the professor is hiding from me. But I can't just rifle through the luggage of innocent citizens. This is the 60s. Professor Lucian?
Yes?
Oh, nothing.
Well, good.
Goodbye, Professor.
Goodbye.
I've no idea what I'd say to Matt. Matt says the violinist put something in his... The question is... The Baroness... I better not...
Pardon me, sir.
We could have used you a few minutes ago. Professor Lucian.
The door is open. How can I help you, Constable Zellner?
I'd like...
Oh,
Did the burglar leave any clues? Here's something. Might be fingerprints. They're tough to make out, but I do believe there are some prints on the window. If I had a forensics kit, I could make the prints visible with carbon powder. They're tough to make out, but if I had a... Goodbye, Professor. I've no idea. There are thousands of things I would like to ask her, but nothing would justify neglecting my duties here on the train. I'll leave the scissors here. Who'd have thought that one day butterscotch would remind me of my age and of all the things I had to leave behind? I'd better let him read his newspaper if I don't have any pressing questions. Inspector Legrand?
Anything to report?
I got Professor Lucian into his compartment using a pair of pliers.
Did you notice anything inside the compartment?
The window was open. Someone could have climbed out.
And the professor?
Acted suspiciously. He rummaged around in his leather bag.
And?
He seemed to have found what he was searching for.
Good. Good work.
Now, perhaps you could give me some information.
All right. We should... What?
The light's gone out.
Flashlights! Ah! Get off me!
There, sir. An envelope.
My dear Nico, you should take a closer look at the box. R.
What the dickens? It's a...
Away with it! Take cover!
Oh dear. Oh.
Is everyone all right? Are you hurt? Quick thinking. Well done, Zellner.
I think the tunnel collapsed.
Then he's trapped. Hurry, we have to lock the second exit.
Sir, there's a fire up ahead. The engine's burning.
It's a distraction. Hurry, block the exit.
But sir...
The fire will consume all the oxygen.
He's right, Inspector. A fire in a narrow tunnel is extremely dangerous.
Merde. Go to the front of the train, find the engineer, and tell him to move the train out of the tunnel.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready? You have to uncouple the freight car. You understand?
I understand.
I'll see to the passengers. They should all wait in the tunnel. We'll check each one in turn as they go out.
Let's get to it. My God, what a fire. I hope Constable Oliver can at least reach the engine. Whiskey, scotch, rum, liqueurs, enough to entertain everyone on the train all the way from Paris to Istanbul. A lot was damaged by the sudden stop, but the bowl was thick enough to survive the fall. The last of the candy has vanished. Measured against the exploding freight car, I think the railway will overlook the loss. The last of the candy...
Oh, pardon me. I did not mean to scare you.
What are you doing here, Doctor?
Legrand asked me to check whether there are any passengers left on the train.
Really? No one is here, except for me and you.
Excellent. Then I will continue searching at the front.
Did anyone act suspiciously before the explosion? Did anyone leave their seat, for example?
I was the only one on the train who wasn't seated when the freight car exploded. Thank God. Otherwise, I would have been caught by the blast as well.
You certainly were lucky.
Perhaps I was. What happened over there? The inspector said something about gas canisters that exploded.
If Inspector Legrand says so, it must be so, right?
I have been to war, and this was no minor explosion. I rather doubt that the freight car was packed to the roof with gas canisters.
The investigations are ongoing, but first we have to get the burning train out of the tunnel.
Of course.
How are the passengers?
They are in a state of shock, of course. The blackout and the sudden stop were frightening enough, but then the explosion, the dust. Everyone rushed for the exits. I was helping the American woman bring Lady Westmacott to safety. They are waiting outside in the tunnel. One entrance is blocked by a fire, and the other one seems to have collapsed.
Continue to search the train. I'll decouple the buried freight car.
All right.
Doctor, can you give me a few matches?
Oh, certainly.
Thanks. I'll meet you outside.
Do hurry!
Some matches, and half of the book to get the flame going. The chair either fell over thanks to the sudden stop, or an escaping passenger knocked it over. Wanting to get off the train as quickly as possible after a sudden stop and a massive tremor, that's understandable. There's a pretty intense draft here. The fire is sucking up the oxygen. The inspector's trap failed. The thief must have got wind of it. Worse than that, he turned the tables. To win a game of cat and mouse, you have to know who is the cat and who is the mouse. I'm sure I could uncouple the car if I only had enough light to see what I'm doing. There's a noticeable draft here. Maybe it's because of the fire, or perhaps there's still a hole through which the air is coming. The latter will be quite welcome. It will buy us some more time. High-proof rum. Could be useful. Carling Black Label. A British beer. Champagne. The finest. Maybe we'll open a bottle if we get out of the tunnel alive. Until then, though, it's no use to me. Rum from Austria. Believe it or not, it's 80% alcohol by volume. There's no way anyone would drink it straight. I've filled the bowl about a third of the way with rum. Phew, strong stuff. Just as I expected, the alcohol burns with an almost invisible flame. The flame is hot, but it's no use as a light source. The flame is certainly bigger and hotter than a match, but even so, the curtain would probably just smolder. That should do it. Can't really say the fabric was eager to soak up the rum. I, on the other hand, soaked up enough in my fingers to smell like a drunk. A fine, but rather heavy, probably doesn't burn easily, like the tablecloths. Safety regulations require it, which, given the present situation, is actually a good thing. The alcohol on the curtain. Even if I could set the fabric alight. It's not bothering me, I'll leave it there. I noticed the extinguisher earlier. Doesn't match the decor. I suppose that the railway company had to comply with safety regulations at the cost of aesthetics. It'd be useless against the fire out there, and it's too cumbersome to carry around. At best, I can use it here. Must be good for... All right, let's go. The alcohol on the curtain burns. The alcohol burns with a dim blue flame. It doesn't shed enough light and will probably burn out in a few seconds. Won't solve my lack of light. No good. Insufficient alcohol content. For practical purposes, I mean, not for drinking. I should concentrate on uncoupling the freight car. I'm positive. I don't see Legrand or the constable, but I can make out the silhouettes of some of the passengers. They seem to be unscathed. All the same, the fire is getting bigger, and I don't have much time. The material won't be able to soak up any more alcohol. The alcohol on the curtain burns just as darkly as in the bowl. It's no help. That'll get me something like a Molotov cocktail. I want light, but I don't want it to come from a wall of flames. The flame is hot, but it's no use as a light source. The alcohol burns with a dim blue. Won't solve my lack of light. Okay, I'll smear some grease on the curtain. I'm the god of fire. That's better now. A lever on a pressure sleeve running along a thread. Aha! I can uncouple it with this lever. Okay. There we go. Time to get out of here.
Listen, everybody! Listen! Robert, what's the situation?
Yeah, I couldn't find the engineer, so I got in the driver's cab myself and released the brake.
All right. Good job, you two. Listen, please!
Matty! Where's Matt? Where's my son?
Relax, madame. I'm sure...
Help!
Matty! No!
Matt, where are you?